Well, welcome everybody. This is Old Allen's 11. It's something of a milestone for a few reasons. Firstly, well, I'm now officially big time into double figures with these blogs, and that's really good because well, there's always been stuff going on, so it's nice. It helps keep me ticking along to think, well, what's the next thing going to be, and it helps to motivate me to keep doing stuff. So thanks for sticking with me, and thanks for watching what I've been getting up to. As you can see from behind me, I've got a bit of a stack of ash coming into the log store, so that's good. I've got a very, very smelly little dog running around here who's found herself a nice pile. Oh, here she is. Found herself a nice pile of fox poo to have a roll in, and she's busy hunting stuff. So she's happy as anything. She loves it down here. She absolutely loves it down here. But moving on to other things, I'm going to take you into the hut. Bear with. There we go. My hut has acquired a stove, which is great. When I came to, obviously the weather's got a bit colder now, and I'd had this stove for a while and I hadn't bothered plumbing it in because frankly I didn't want to cut a hole in the roof. I didn't want to risk the rainwater getting in, but I did it a couple of weekends ago with the help of a friend of mine called James, and so there we go. I've had a couple of little fires there just to sort of help temper the cast iron, and now this is the first sort of decent fire I've had in there really, so that's good. So in the hut right now it's 22 degrees. I've got the door open, I've got a window open behind me. Now when I lit this fire, the temperature on that thermometer was 12 degrees. So I suspect if I shut the door on the hut, shut the window and sat in here, I'd get it up over 30 degrees quite easily. I think. So I think, guess what that means is when it's freezing outside, I'm going to be able to get it up to 20 degrees in here without too much trouble, I shouldn't think. So that would be really good. Look at this dog. Look at this dog. What are you doing, Wilma? Hey? What are you doing? Good girl. Go find something to chase. Go get something. Go on. Find it. Go get it. And that'll be the last we'll see of her for about another 20 minutes. That's the fun stuff out of the way. You know, the exciting news about the stove and stuff like that. On a slightly more awkward note, I've had an intruder down here. Now, when I first took the land on, in the early, so this was around about March time, I actually got the key to the gate, etc. There were some footprints around the gateway that didn't belong to me, didn't belong to my brother. They weren't James's, you know, nobody I knew, and there were dog prints with them. So someone was obviously coming in, walking their dog through the woods and out. Now, I should say, just
along from me that way there's a public footpath. Just along from me up that way there's a public footpath. There's several over the other side of the road. You know, we're not short of places to exercise your dog and generally be around nature around this area. And what I've got here is really, it's a very little area, but it has no public access on it at all. Now, I would hope that people who watch my videos know that I don't have a problem with sharing. You know, I like to invite people here. You'll have seen Sandy's video, which he did from here. You will have seen, you know, you'll have seen that Lee's been in videos. You'll have seen my friend James in videos. You know, people come down, hang out, share the place. You know, I'm not one for sort of going, it's mine, you know, but at the same time I have to protect the place, and I have to make sure that it's looked after in a manner which befits, you know, its location and its place in the local ecosystem. And you know, anything I do, I've always got in my head, how does that fit in with the wildlife in the area, you know, because that's the last thing that I want to disrupt. He says, having lost his dog into the woods to chase stuff. But as I say, it's a small area, it's a little bit, and I'm very lucky to have it, but I still had to pay a lot of money to acquire it. And I'm not a rich bloke. To put that into context, I'm not going to say what I paid for it, obviously, but I don't have a house. I don't have a house in my name. I don't have a mortgage. I live in a house and I pay rent. And when this land came up as an opportunity, I made a choice between putting a deposit on a flat or buying this land. That was my choice. So it's not something I did lightly, and therefore I'm a bit reluctant to just have anybody just wandering in here. Now, I don't know who this person is, so that's the first thing I've got to do, is I've got to find out. When I know who it is, I can talk to them and say, look, okay, there's no public access, what are you doing? Before I owned the land, there was a previous owner of the land did have a right of access onto the land after they'd sold it, but that right of access wasn't transferred when I bought it, so that right of access no longer exists. Maybe it's that person and they don't realise it's changed hands or whatever. I mean, it should be pretty obvious, because there's a new name on the gate. There's a big sign saying "Private Keep Out," which went in after I'd seen these footprints the first time. There's new fences. There's the wood store. There's the hut. You know, it should be pretty obvious that after 20 plus years of nothing being done with it, that it's now under someone else's ownership. However, and the other thing is, of course, the field actually looks like a field. You can actually walk through it, and you can walk through the woods, whereas before you couldn't really do that. So if it is that person, I need to have a word with them. Just say, look, I don't necessarily mind, but you should have made some efforts to find out who owned it and ask them. You know, it's for all the bushcrafters, wild campers. The law says, find the owner, ask the owner. With the owner's permission, you're fine. Well, this is all new territory to me. I'm the owner of a piece of land. If people want to be in it, they need to ask my permission. But anyway, yeah, and I'm more than happy for people to come in and camp, you know, do a bit of wild camping. It's not a vast area, and there's a road up there, so it's not the quietest of wild camps, but there are areas where you can still get away from it, you know. And if you imagine in your head very strongly that road noise is a mountain stream or a river somewhere, then you know, you can live with it. But anyway, I'm wittering. Sorry. What this has prompted me to do is I've made a purchase, and that is one of these wildlife cameras, night sensing, you know, hideable camera. So I should be able to get this person on film. I don't think they're coming in very often. I think it's very occasionally, but the thing that disturbs me is they're walking all the way around the place. They've been up round the log store, they've been round the hut, you know, they're leaving their mark. Nothing, as far as I can see, nothing's been touched. So they're not the sort of person, they're not coming in to do no good, you know. They're just coming in to walk their dog. But I just want to be asked, you know. Hello, Wilma. So yeah, I've got this camera. Once I've got the camera, I should be able to get, hopefully, some decent images of this person. Chances are they're local. Chances are my neighbour will know who they are. She's the only one that I allow in here without telling me, because she sold me the land, you know. So I put her in her own little gateway, as you'll have seen in other videos. So if it's not her or a friend of hers, then we've got an issue. But so hopefully that camera will work out well, and I'll get some images. I just got to work out where to place it and stuff. I wanted to get one anyway because I was going to put it on the wildlife trails in the woods. So hopefully, you know, sort of double-edged, or double usage really. And the nice thing is I'm getting the money back for it, because it's going to be a 40th birthday present for me. So I've already ordered it, but it's going to be a 40th present for me for next month. So that's really nice of the family. So yeah, hopefully we'll get some nice footage. And that's that. I mean, as I say, this person's not out to cause trouble, but I'd just like to find out who it is, so I can go and have a word with them. And if it's someone from one of the big houses up the road, then I might just sort of just take my dog for a walk around their garden before I talk to them, because I guarantee they'll be out like a shot. What the bloody hell are you doing in my garden? I'm doing what you've done in my garden. Effectively. Yeah. But there we go. Interesting times. The story continues.